Welcome to STL TV Live. I'm Sarah Thompson, and with me now is Reena Hajat Carroll, Executive Director of Diversity Awareness Partnership, an organization designed to train people to engage in meaningful and effective dialogues about diversity and to nurture good community relationships. And really what you do could not come, I mean, in terms of the timing where we're at with things right now, it's got to be a busy time for you.
It is unbelievably busy in a good way. I think people are really looking for solutions around dialogue and how do we move forward as a community. So we're hoping to help.
So let's clarify two things. Let's clarify first if what the events that happened in Ferguson hadn't happened, you'd still be doing this. But I want to talk about first what you do at Diversity Awareness Partnership, and then now, since the past 3 weeks, have been, you know, the world's eyes are on Ferguson or on St. Louis. I want to talk about what you've changed or altered a bit to address that. So why don't you start there for me?
Sure. So the Diversity Awareness Partnership's mission is to promote diversity in the St. Louis area around issues of race, religion, sexual orientation, disability, age, all of the major sort of key identity areas. And we have had a history of doing that through diversity training, youth programs. We work with middle and high school students, and through educational publications. And so that's what we've been doing for the past 13 years. And now that Ferguson has happened, we have altered our response a little bit, but still in alignment with promoting diversity through education and awareness.
So you have these sessions, I mean, as soon as you leave here, and really for the rest of the month, you're going to be busy. Tell me about what these sessions actually are doing.
Sure. So we thought a really effective response to the aftermath of Ferguson was to provide the community with facilitation skills and strategies. So we are offering free diversity facilitation sessions about once a week for the entire month of September, and they're completely free, open to the public, and we would love to have anyone who's interested in learning how to navigate these really difficult conversations, because I think what we have seen happen is an emergence of conversations around race, racism, white privilege, unconscious bias, and these are concepts for many of us we don't talk about on a daily basis. And so when you're confronted with these conversations, you don't necessarily have the skills to navigate through and really have a good, productive, constructive conversation.
And I've been listening, you know, in the past couple of weeks to a lot of the sort of town halls that they've had, and I think, would you not agree that anger is one of the things that has come up because it's so difficult? Not only do people not want to talk about race sometimes, but it kind of always falls into the usual diatribes, and then with the tragedy, I mean, the utter tragedy of what's happened, there's sadness and anger, and so sometimes that blocks a really healthy conversation. How do you recommend that people kind of overcome that?
Yeah, and what we are trying to equip people with are the skills to dialogue instead of debate. So those two concepts are very different, right? And what we want people to do is to listen, to have an open mind, and to ultimately come to a level of understanding. And so we know, to your point, that these conversations are emotional, but what we're asking people to do when they're having these conversations is to somewhat try to stay neutral and try to listen to the other person's perspective. So all of us at some point in our life have said, that's really stupid. I don't know why you think that. That's just a crazy thought that you had. And so instead of saying all of those things, maybe we can try to say things like, that's really interesting. I've never heard that perspective. Can you share more about that? And what we do when we use language like that is we open the conversation up. We continue the conversation instead of closing it. And so what we hope is then we have the opportunity to learn what the other person is trying to say, learn perspectives, maybe share data, share facts, and in that way come to a point of understanding that will hopefully move us forward.
I know that we're looking at one of the billboards that you're known. I know over the years you've worked with the St. Louis Rams and a lot in promoting diversity. So you've changed them up, I guess, a little bit different now because of everything.
Right, absolutely. So that was one of the things we've done differently. And on the billboards you will see the words listen, talk, learn. And we think it is fundamental to be doing some listening, talking, and learning, again, to rebuild our city. And so underneath those words you'll see two different sort of phrases. One is, what can we do better? Which is really allowing our region to collectively think about how can we solve this problem, how can we be stronger. And the second billboard will say, listen, talk, learn, start the conversation, because it's so critical to be talking right now.
It is. I mean, it really is. And I think that's only, to your point, it's sort of, if people can stay neutral, what's next? You know, what's the next steps? Well, there it is right there for you on the screen. There's these diversity facilitation sessions that Diversity Awareness Partnership is spearheading and hosting for the entire month of September. We start full, but there's still openings, so please go give them a phone call or head to their website to find out more information if this is something you're interested in, or really sharing it. I think this is something that can share, and who knows, you might end up being utilized really for a long time to come. So I know you already are, but in response to this. But thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
And good luck with everything. Stay strong. All right, well, there's still more STL TV Live coming up next, so we'll be right back.